Hello and welcome to Tuesday. What day is it? It is July 7th, 2020. Tuesday, July 7th, 2020. And I have just learned that Facebook has again changed their entire interface. And that's not good. I don't know what they've done, but it's crazy. So if you're experiencing that relative change, another change in this time, this day and age, again, it's happening and it's always happening. And I don't know what to do because it's happening all around me. There's changes, multiple changes, as in the fact that I don't know where my cell phone is, but that's okay. I could still do a show without my cell phone, I believe. Ladies and gentlemen, again, it's Tuesday, it's 2020. And today on our show, I have a dear, dear friend of mine, a gentleman who has been working in the theatrical setting here in Savannah for, by my estimate, at least 10 years. Yeah, if not more. I am going to introduce him now to you, and we will have a lovely conversation all about theater, all about performance, all about Savannah and our future. And I can't wait to make this happen. He's been backstage dining on Ritz crackers and Cheese Whiz. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, David Poole. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm doing great.
Good. And the Cheese Whiz, it set well?
Oh yes, it did. It was great.
Yeah. You got to aim it just right on the cracker when you're putting it on there. Yeah.
So you get that nice swirl.
Absolutely. I apologize for my confusion at the beginning of the show, but I did. I refreshed my Facebook page and they've changed everything again. So thank you,
Facebook.
Zuckerberg. Yeah, exactly.
Facebook is a little crazy.
They are a little crazy. So when we talked last week, you were talking to me about something that you're doing very soon this month. And yes, I have to say, you are the first in Savannah to actually stage something.
Yes, through this whole COVID thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Collective Face. One of the things that we were trying to figure out is how do we still make theater in this COVID land? We were going to, prior to COVID, prior to March, we were in the middle of show, and we were going to do Priscilla, Queen of the Desert in the end of May into June. And both those productions got canceled. And so I was like, oh, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to navigate this COVID world? And learning about Broadway postponing and closing and postponing and regionals postponing and trying to figure out how do we still create the art that we do. I came up with this sort of kind of plan, and right now you have to have kind of like an A, B, C, D, E, F plan. And so our plan was to do this thing called the Fall Fractal. And our Fall Fractal, I was thinking about, okay, what kind of theater could happen? Streaming theater, a lot of people are doing streaming shows, et cetera. And right about that time, Terrence McNally had died. He had passed away from COVID-19. And he's one of our great American playwrights. And so I was looking at his works and I was like, oh, well, what if we do readings and call it the Fall Fractal, because it's fractured. We're all over the place. And we do these readings, sort of pop-up theater readings in different places and raise some money for some organizations, during this COVID-19 craziness. And so I chose 3 of his plays, his best works, and we're going to start to do a staged reading this month, the 24th and the 25th of July. And, I got a bunch of our company members and local actors who have never worked with me. And we're going to do it at Bay Street. And the play that we're going to begin with is Love, Valor, and Compassion by Terrence McNally. And it's his famous play that kind of put him on the map. A lot of people know this play. It's a gay rights play. It's a post-AIDS epidemic play. It takes place in the 1990s. There was a movie with Jason Alexander in it, who was a replacement for Nathan Lane.
Oh, really?
Yes, and the play kind of put Nathan Lane a little bit on the map too. People know this play because of Nathan Lane's character, Buzz, and it's being played by JoJo.
Hey,
yeah, JoJo Ward is playing the part, and so he's thrilled about it. But and we're putting it on the 24th and 25th, and we're going to raise some money for the Savannah LGBTQ Center as well. Partial of the proceeds will go to that. It's at Club One. You can get tickets through their Club One website.
And that's club1.com?
It's Club One. It's a little weird. I would do a search for Club One and then put in the ticket. Yeah,
yes, let's do that. I'm going to do that right now. So
okay, great. It's Club One. Something. It's hyphenated. It's Club One something hyphenated.
Club1-online.com.
That's it. Yes. That's what it is.
And I'll post that in the comments here.
Yes, that would be great.
Yes,
we're trying to raise some money for this organization, and I think it's really great. And then our future plans are to do next month, hopefully, depending on where we are in the world, to do Frankie and Johnny at the Claire de Lune, and that will be at hopefully some kind of restaurant space to raise some money for restaurant employers and things like that. And then September, the plan is to do Masterclass by Terrence McNally, and that also will be raising money for some organization which we haven't identified yet, but something probably classical musically oriented, because Masterclass is about Maria Callas and her things. So that's what we've been doing, and we're going to be socially distanced. The audience is going to be socially distanced. The actors are going to wear masks. We're going to see what that does, and it's a staged reading, so it's not. The actors won't be fully memorized, but they will have scripts in hand, and I made matching masks with the scripts, and they'll be in costume, and they'll move around and dance, because there's a dance portion of this play, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope people come out for it, and of course our audience will all have to wear masks as well, because of the ordinance. But I think that it's a great sort of ease into the pool, back into performing, step into the pool a little bit and let's see what this does. We were going to possibly try to stream it, but Terrence McNally's estate, which it happens, I was like kind of a little shocked by it, but no streaming rights.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we couldn't stream it. And I had decided on the shows prior to finding out about the streaming rights. So,
right. You had mentioned before that we're living in this world where we kind of have to, you have your A book and you have your B book and you have your C book. So
right.
You do have to adjust pretty quickly
yes, you do. You have to really adjust very quickly and be ready for the unexpected.
So I will say this, the tickets are $10.
Yep.
And this show is an 18+ show.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, it's the content of it. The content of the play really, and because it is at Club One as also. Right. That's one of the reasons. But yeah, it's adult material, but it's funny, it's heartwarming, it's touching, it's a lovely play. It's a really lovely play. It's about a group of gay men who vacation on Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day, one summer, and weekends, and it's about their lives and falling in love and all those kinds of things. It's a really lovely, poignant play. It takes place in upstate New York in a beautiful Victorian restored house. That's the setting, overlooking a lake.
Very nice.
Yes,
so, see that Victorian house or the lake,
it's really fun. There's JoJo, who is playing the character of Buzz, is really hysterical. And there are all I got who I could get. Travis Coles is in it. Trey Norris is in it. Jeremiah Kaiser's in it. Who else is it? Oh, Chris Stanley's in it. There's a SCAD student who's playing the Latino role. Andreas Figueroa, I think is his last name. And who else? JoJo. Oh, and Gary Shelby.
Okay.
And Gary Shelby's playing a very interesting role. He's playing twin brothers. So he gets to play two roles. And we'll see how he can switch it up, because one goes off stage and the other one comes on. So
I have known Gary Shelby to play some very interesting roles.
Yes, this is a very interesting role.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
They're British, and that's why there's a comment about why they use valor, VALOUR, in the play rather than VALOR. They use the British spelling.
I see.
And it's because of Gary's character.
That's a little nugget that we can wait for.
Right. They say, well, the Brits always spell valor with
awesome.
LOUR.
Well, let's not give too much away, but yes, that is going to be on the 24th at 7 p.m. and the 25th at 7 p.m.
Yes, 2 performances only.
All right.
Yeah.
Those are, what is that, Friday, Saturday?
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. My birthday is the 23rd, just
so I know.
So tell me a little bit about what you've been helping out with at the Children's Theater.
The Children's Theater this summer, we've been doing our summer camps, socially distanced, modified because of the governing ordinances. And we've been doing a lot of shows. Like every summer, we do, numerous shows. Right now we have completed, 6 shows?
I believe so.
5 shows. 5 shows. They go by so quickly. 5 shows. 2 the first session, then the Wizard of Oz, and then 2 the second session. So we did 5 shows, then we took a break, and now we're on to another 6 shows. Right now I'm in the middle of Moana, and Disney's Moana, and Disney's 101 Dalmatians Kids. So they're doing these 2 performances. Unfortunately, because of COVID, they're not allowed to have audiences. So they've been doing a lot of streaming or recording of these shows. But we've been building all kinds of crazy things. The last session before the 4th of July break, we built a whole set in clouds out of balloons, hundreds of balloons, for this play called Giants in the Sky. And then it had like a little village and a cave and everything. And now we're doing Moana, as I said. And so it requires all this theatricalism, with a lot of fabric as water, and building giant puppets that are gods, and a bird that flies, and all this stuff, and a giant cloud. In 2 weeks, next week they go up, Friday or whatever they.
So an unfortunate fact of this current situation is that it's not really open to the public. It's open to parents to watch.
Right.
And I guess whoever's watching with them, whoever that may be.
Right.
But yeah, they'll stream that after the show's over, probably about a week after, I'd say.
Yeah, they'll either stream it, or I think with Disney, they are not allowed to stream. So I think they are allowed to just have a recording of it for personal use.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So great. Can't wait for that to be public again.
Yeah, I know. And well, there's a second session of shows coming up. And I think the high school, where the junior company show they're doing, may have a live audience.
Yeah, we still have to see what's going on.
Yes.
The time that it's happening.
Right. As I said, we have to have plans A, B, C, D, E, F,
right.
Just, we don't know what's going to happen next,
So you've done shows with Collective Face for 10 years now. Did you start with the beginning?
Yeah, it's kind of a little murky because the company was started in 2009. But we didn't become an ensemble company until a year later.
Okay.
So there's like a little period of time. It was about a year of time where we were like sort of floating. We didn't have a real grasp. And then Dandy came along in 2010. And so she became managing director at that point in time. And so then that's when we started to formalize more of this sort of idea of a rep company and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But, hey, with COVID and the world changing and people moving away, which always happens, we're going to try to reinvent ourselves a little bit. So we don't know what the past COVID-19 Collective Face is going to look like. It may be very different, go in different directions and things like that. We'll see. We'll be, it's technically 10 years was last year, the 2019, 2020 season. And officially our 10th year as a rep company starts in 2020. So
I see.
So yeah. So we've done, it's like ridiculous amounts of shows now. It's 40 shows.
Wow.
40 productions. Yeah, which I've been there for every one of them.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, 4 shows a year. 10
and
years.
I've seen some. I got to tell you, masterful sets.
Yeah. We became a lot known for our sets and of course the acting, but
of course,
the acting, like that's whatever. We're just going to see the set,
right?
But the acting and I've worked with some great people in this town, and some of our sets have been just phenomenal, I guess, and crazy things that we've accomplished set wise. With the little spaces that we've had. We were at Muse for many years before. Hey, Jennifer.
She's clapping for your set work.
Yeah. And the muscles.
Right.
But yeah, we've been doing that for a long time now. And so doing these staged readings. The interesting thing to note is that our second show, really our sort of first Collective Face show where we were going, was a staged reading. It was this play with Carla Knutson in it, Dandy Barrett, and Richie Cook. It was a play called Frozen, not to be confused with the Disney musical. This was before the Disney musical came out.
Right.
And it was a dark drama about a serial killer, actually. And
Richie was the serial killer?
Yes, Richie was the serial killer.
He does have that look about him.
I guess. But yeah, I had to like put fake tattoos all over his arms. It was It was kind of crazy. It's a crazy play. It's actually a very good play. But we did it as a staged reading, and a lot of people were like, ooh, ah. And so then we went into doing a full season. And from there, we did Glass Menagerie, which was our first big show as, post Enchanted April, which was our first show. So yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time in Savannah.
So before Collective Face, how did you get started in theater?
It's a really weird story. It's
I've got one too.
It's really odd. No, it's really odd.
Okay.
My parents worked at. My father's a musician by trade. He's a percussionist, and we lived in this town called Catskill, New York, which is part of the Catskills. Most people don't know that there's actually a town called Catskill, New York. And around the Catskills in our surrounding towns, there was, and my father grew up in Catskill, there was a Western town amusement park.
Not to be confused with COVID Land, which is not a theme park. Which
is not a theme park. COVID Land is not a theme park. It was called Carson City, New York. It was around from the 50s. So my father had gone there as a child, and it was those spaghetti westerns of the 50s. Gunsmoke came and visited Carson City back in the day, and all of that kind of stuff. And so my father worked there, and I ended up growing up there. And they had a saloon show, which was, can girls and circus entertainers from Las Vegas, and Ringling Brothers. They had clowns from Ringling Brothers and all of that stuff.
Wow.
So there was and they would have gunfights in the streets, and there was like a Native American village up in the hills right by there that they put on their Native American dance shows, and they would do face painting, and there was rodeos, and the theater there way back in the day, there was even diving horses.
Ooh.
Yeah, back in the day, like the 30s and the 40s, they had diving horses. I was like, wow, this is crazy, Bill. But I grew up there. Now it's a defunct. That place is like one of those abandoned amusement parks that people go to now. But right down the road was the Catskill Game Farm, which was a zoo. And, it was like the time where people spent vacations in the Catskills, and they would bring their kids and their families, and a whole summers full of that. And then I sort of was attracted to puppeteers. So my theater training really comes from the puppet theater in the beginning. And so I met all these puppeteers when I was very young, and started training and wanted to be a puppeteer. And then something really weird happened, which is my family and my parents, and myself and my sister went on a trip to Tennessee. This really small town called Crossville, Tennessee. And my father was like, well, would you like to move here? And I said, yeah, okay. We all decided to move to Tennessee randomly when I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
And so we moved to this small little town called Crossville, Tennessee, on the Cumberland County Plateau. And they have a regional theater there. And my father was seeking some work. And I had an interest in the theater, because of puppeteering and all that stuff. And so I went to an audition, and I did 8 shows there in 2 years, and learned the craft while I was there.
Wow.
And then we moved back to Tennessee, back to New York. And I did my high school years in New York. And then my undergraduate, well, in my high school years, because I had this training from Tennessee, was trying to find opportunities in New York. And I just decided one day I was going to direct a musical. And so I directed a musical at 16 years old.
Which musical was that?
Gypsy.
Ah, very nice.
I directed Gypsy when I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
I raised all this money. In my hometown, there is an old vaudevillian theater, kind of like the Lucas, that has been converted into a movie theater. And I was in the movie theater one day, and above there was a sign that says, "We can rent out for parties, etc., etc." And I called them up and I said, when I was 16, I called them up and said, "What would it take? How much would it cost for us to rent this place for two weeks to do a musical?" And they were like, "This amount of money." I raised that amount of money and we put on a show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then that was my freshman year of high school. And then through the years, I did the high school musical that we did once a year. And then I did my undergraduate at Purchase College for theater. So that's how I got my training and my start.
So a whole life of theater. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, though, I've talked to numerous actresses in this program, and by and large, like one of the top parts that people look to play is Mama Rose.
I know. It's like everybody wants to play Mama Rose.
We can't have that many Mama Roses, though. That's.
I know. Well, you can't have that many productions of Gypsy, is what.
No.
It is my belief that Gypsy is probably in the top 5 best crafted musicals ever.
Yes. And Jen says, "Way to jump into the deep end the first time."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was ambition and naivete. No, I had no one. I always was like, and this has been my mantra. And a lot of people interview me and they say, "What's your mantra, or what do you do by?" I say, don't ever tell me no, because I will turn back and I say, "You want to bet? I'll do it." And so that's what happened. I read the script for Gypsy when I was 16 and I said, "I'm going to do it." And nobody stopped me. I had parents who were like, thought I was crazy, but hey, they were like, "Go, just do what you want to do."
That's awesome. That's awesome. Have you mounted a production of Gypsy since then?
No, it's on my bucket list.
Okay.
It's on my bucket list to revisit it someday.
There you go. All those actresses that told me they would.
I know.
David got on his bucket list.
It's on my bucket list. I've done it. When I did it, I was very naive and very young, and I would probably not have done it the way that I will do it that way ever again. But it's a tough show, of course, for Mama Rose. But if you get the right Mama Rose, it'll all fall into place.
Yeah.
The last time it was done in Savannah, Laura Dutton was Mama Rose.
Oh, I could totally see that.
And Michelle Turley was Gypsy.
Turley.
Yeah, that was way back when. I think it was in the 90s. I think it was in the 90s it was done.
Yeah. So Michelle's a dear friend of mine. Love that lady. Fun. That's a great story. And next up we have this fractured season.
Yes, this fractal. It'll be interesting. Staged readings can be so wonderful in the sense that you start to really hear the words of the author. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was so thrilled to be doing that again. And of course, in David Poole fashion, everybody's like, it's not going to be just actors with microphones and music stands. Mm-hmm. There will be a set and there will be some costuming and things
Really?
like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's sets and there's costumes and lights, and it's sort of when we did Frozen way back when, people, Chris Blair was the one who commented that he said, I don't know why you even bothered to have the scripts. They knew the damn play in and out. It could have just been a full production, which is kind of what I anticipate. And the other thing too about staged readings, which I feel like is a really good thing, it's your trunk show. I can put it into a trunk, and if something happens where we're unable to perform, plan C, D, E, F, G goes out the window, and I can always pack it up and bring it back later. And that's the nice thing about a staged reading. And and it could also lead to the possibility of a full production.
Yeah.
If the turnout is well and people are really digging it, then you can go, okay, well, we'll do a full show of it then.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like it's a live experiment almost.
Yeah. And it's, as I said, it's a nice way to put our toe in the lake or whatever, the pool, and start again. And I think that's what we need to do. And I think that we're going to see a lot of readings and radio plays and things that we'll see a lot of them happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think
either smaller numbers of casts or things.
Right. Well, even like, there's a famous play called Love Letters that
I've seen it.
Yeah, Love Letters, and Love Letters is a perfect play to do during this time. You know what I mean? And if you have to Zoom Love Letters, it's okay. It'll work out. If you have to, do it as a staged reading in front of an audience, it'll work out. It's one of those types of plays.
Yeah.
And it's a cast of two.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie and Johnny.
Did you see it when SCAD brought them in? I think it's been like 6, 7, 8 years. I think even before I was involved in theater, so it's been more than that. SCAD brought in 2 big names to do it, and I can't remember who they were.
Oh, I know it's been done a lot in this town.
Yeah,
a lot in this town. It's been done a lot across the country. Mm-hmm. But as I was saying to you before we went on air, there's a great company in LA called LA Theater Works that does all these plays, and they do it radio play style. Which is good because then your actors don't really have to interact as much in the COVID land, which they're trying to get us to socially distance and everything. So it works out. But as I said, I think we're going to see a lot more of these readings. We're going to see that kind of stuff before we go into full-blown production mode again.
Yeah.
And who knows what on the other end of this, what theater is going to survive, how theater is going to survive. There'll be some form of theater, I'm sure.
It obviously will survive, but we just don't know what
it will be, right? What it will be, and the practices of what kind of, disinfectant kind of practices we're going to all have to deal with.
Right.
And there was a meme going around, or a picture going around from, I think it was the Berliner Ensemble in Germany, and they were like, this is what theater socially distance is going to look like. And they were removing major amounts of seating in a major theater, where it was like 2 seats, then a blank, like 6 chairs, then another 2 seats, and rows in between that they were all taking out, removing chairs and everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that might be interesting.
Yeah. It's almost like why not just take all the seats out and have everybody bring a blanket? Yeah.
Which, hey, we're back to the very primitive outdoor theater kind of stuff, which, hey, it may end up being that way. We may go back to the roots of what theater is and how does.
During the Black Plague, it's basically the same.
Yeah, there was basically. And speaking of which, there's a theater company up in New York, upstate New York, probably about 4 hours from New York City, but they have opted to do sort of kind of what a wagon play is what historically it was called, where it was like a parade almost, where you would go, you would get in your car and then you would stop at a spot and they would perform a scene and then you would get into, and they have opted to do that kind of thing with fairy tales. They're calling it like fairy tale something, I forget, but they're doing like these locational stops that families can get in their car and stop at a destination and have a performance and then move on.
All right. I've got something for that right here. Evan Getz.
Getz, yeah.
Yes, Evan Getz, who's with the city of Rock Hill now, and has a small theater up there as well that he started with them. We had a conversation. They're actually doing Shakespeare that way in the city of Rock Hill, where it's a 3-part Shakespeare mini play, I think. And so you'll go to one stop, and I think maybe because you watch it, you get to go into the store that it's in front of it and get a discount or something like that. But it is, I guess it is a new way of doing it, and it's a different way. But I guess
and it's very, as we would call it, experiential. It's about an experience rather than just going to see a theater in a show and get lost in the show. The lights go out and that kind of thing. It's more experience theater, which is kind of where I kind of thought theater would go anyhow. Because there have been numerous playhouses across the country that are doing more experiential kind of theater where there's more audience participation. The actors are more in the audience, and we were seeing this in New York too. Pierre and the Comet of 1812.
Yes.
That was very experiential. It was, all about the experience. And quite honestly, Diane, oh my God, I can't remember her last name, who is at American Repertory.
My face was glowing. I had to turn my light
up. American Repertory Theater, Diane Paulus, who won the Tony for directing, I think it was Hair. Or no, Pippin. She's all about that sort of, let's talk about theater, where it can go, how we can experience it, rather than it just being a show we go to. And a lot of theater producers and directors have been talking about making it an experience of a lifetime rather than just going to see a show.
Right.
So,
or just do a drive-in play. I think that'll
drive-in plays. Right. Yes, I know. That's what one company, I can't remember what company is doing that. That's what they're doing. They're like, all these drive-in theaters are reopening, who would have thought that drive-in theaters were the way to go, Garth Brooks.
I'd love to go.
Yeah. Garth Brooks just recently did a drive-in concert. Like, you would go to these selected drive-in theaters where he had pre-recorded a concert, I think. But they were doing a drive-in concert. It was like $100 per car. And I was like, that's a little pricey.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if partial of that was going to some cause, frontline workers or something. But they were all these concerts where you would drive in and to a drive-in theater and view the concert. So, those are the things that I think are coming and happening and changing and shifting, and it is the theater world.
Right. We just roll with it.
Yeah, unpredictable. Unpredictable. Yeah.
Well, David, I'm looking forward to this happening, and I can't wait to see the result of it. I do hope that we can somehow make that happen with us as well, where we can have more theater coming up very soon.
Right. Me too. I think that the more the merrier, and we just all have to be safe, and our audiences are going to be required to wear masks, and our actors were wearing masks, and we're going to take all those precautions, but still perform and still get things out there, and get those stories out there. That's
exactly. That's what it's all about.
Yep, that's what it's all about. We're storytellers at our cores, you know.
Yeah. All right, David. Well, thanks for joining me today.
Yes, great.
Him,
Thanks for
his.
having me. Yeah.
The correct pronouns. Very
Yeah,
good.
my he, him, and his pronouns, which are, hey.
I imagine I'll be seeing you around the Children's Theater very soon.
Yes, you probably will.
All right.
And people should come, you know,
Yeah.
come get tickets, you know.
Yes, get tickets at
seating,
club1-online.com.
Right. So it's limited seating. And so if you really want to come support, you know, the center, the LGBTQ center, and let's get some funds for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They have some great services that they
provide.
They provide. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, David. We'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds great. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
David Poole, ladies and gentlemen. A great, great he, him, his. As am I. Love, labor. No. What is it? Valor? Yes, that's the show. It's love, valor, and other things. I've got to look it up right now just so we can make sure that I get it right, folks, because I don't want to get this wrong. And I'm just going to keep talking until I do get it right. It is at club1.com, and there it is, club1online.com, and the name of the show. David, you're sitting right there. Just tell me.
Love, valor, compassion.
All right, good. Love, valor, compassion. Thanks, David. Go see it. Get tickets. club1-online.com. Tomorrow on our show, a good friend of David, actually, Cecilia Tran-Arango. I can't wait for that show. I know he's going to be watching, as she should have been watching tonight. If she wasn't, she'll watch it in replay, I'm sure. But come back tomorrow, 6:30. I'll be here. She'll be here. We'll have a great time. See you soon. Sitcom freeze.